Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
You look so cozy, and it looks like the type of top that I want to try and crochet, but I would never have the talent to.
Honestly, knitting's so much easier, especially like colour work. Like this is a knit jumper. Like it's easier to knit it than it is to crochet it.
I've just got the hang of crocheting, so don't think I want to take on another thing
Yeah,
either.
I
Only
say
because
I really can't get the hang of crochet. I can't figure out tension.
It's easier to start knitting because like that's what you worry with. That's what you're struggling with, isn't it? With crochet is the starting it with the magic. What's it called?
the magic ring.
Whereas like knitting and casting on is a lot easier.
Yeah, if I was crocheting something in a square and I could just chain, easy, good to go. But I'm making something with a magic ring.
She's trying to make a dinosaur.
Oh, to be fair though, I need way more stitch markers than I don't just need the one stitch marker, because when you do increased stitches, when I'm watching something as well, I get lost about where I put my things. So yeah.
Try it again. Now you've got your ring thing. She's got one of those rings that you can use to like hook the yarn onto
tension.
Oh, you need to send me a link to that.
Tension.
It's okay. It's given time for people to show up. Look, there's a Becca.
There is a Becca. Welcome to the knitting / crochet talk on this live.
Get away from the knitting.
No.
We're here to talk about the Gemina. I don't have it to hand. Mine's in my room ready for a wrap up. But we have two there.
Yeah.
We both read it at the exact same time last night. Half an hour before me and finished half an hour before me because I think we were listening to it at a very similar speed. And we sat in the same room reading and listening along to the audiobook. And it was quite funny watching Meg whenever she got to one of the bits of music just start dancing along. So I'm like, oh, there's music coming soon then.
Oh, Becca's laughing at us. I was surprised. Yeah. So first off, what did you rate it? I know this is both a review for both of you, so
1 star. I hated it.
Fuck off, lies.
I gave it a 5.
I also gave it a 5. It's my favourite one in the series.
I can understand. Well, I say that, and what do you mean like the third one better? I don't want to say this is my favourite so far.
I will say I don't think I've never seen anybody like the third one most. That's not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
But it's just it has a lot to do, and we'll get onto that next month. But there is reasons why the third one is never going to be as good as the first two because of things it has to do.
Yeah. So
my favorite.
We were discussing this yesterday, and I said I think the reason for me why this is my favorite is in terms of like I love them both. They're very, very close. The sci-fi element in this one is like my favorite just because it's fun. But also I like a relationship where you see a relationship build rather than a second chance romance that's already been set up previously. Meg doesn't mind a second chance romance that's already been set up previously. So I feel like you Katie and Ezra, and I prefer Nick and Hannah.
And Becca isn't ready to start Obsidian after this.
I will at the beginning of January.
I don't have the physical copy, and I can't get it until I get paid. So I'll be reading it once I've got the physical, so I can do the same thing I've done with the other two.
I'm just going to say, while people are here in the comments, we did say this last time, for anyone who missed it, when we read Obsidian next month, we are also going to be reading Memento as well, if people can get their hands on that. I believe it is on Scribd. So it's a short story that was a pre-order incentive. We have a physical copy in the house because this one got it for pre-ordering one of the first Aurora book, Aurora Rising.
Oh.
But we are
they then released it as an ebook and audiobook,
which is why I to
I will be reading that one.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm still gonna call it Scribd.
It's in the same way that it's still Twitter, isn't it?
Yeah. Even the link is still Twitter.
I mean,
So, like, why have you changed it?
well, no, it redirects you to X, but
Yeah,
nobody uses it.
Nobody uses it. Yeah, it's crap. But no, I mean, yeah, him changing the name is crap. I love the third one, but I agree the second one is my favourite. I have the ebook of Mementos and noted. Will also add that to my TBR. I mean,
just
Becky, you
thought
have
it-
such a short TBR. You
Well,
never have long TBRs.
it's the beginning of January. But we just thought that like we might as well read all of it, and
Yeah.
the best place to read that one is kind of at the end of everything. So that
Yeah.
kind of makes it is a prequel, but it obviously makes more sense when you've read everything.
So, I will have to get that on ebook as well because I don't have that one yet.
It said that it's the ebook that's on Scribd. It's not the audio, but the ebook is definitely on there.
I will. I might just have to spend a credit on it.
Take you long to read.
No,
I might not spend the credit on audio.
on myself because it's literally just like
It's like 50 pages or
like
something.
a sheet of paper. It's small.
It's one of those that's like stapled together rather than actually bound together. You know,
Right.
you get chapter samplers. It's like that.
Right, okay, that's fine. I'll maybe not spend the credit on the audio then.
Hence why we're not doing a full month for it.
And that's why I've not spent a credit on the audio.
Yeah.
I refuse.
I feel like I may have found the audio somewhere last time because I feel like I did listen to it. I will work my ways and see if I can find it again.
I love that. Work my ways. If you can do that, brilliant. Like I say, I've read the full series, like mixed media, it'd be great. So I had no idea who was involved in this book. So I was massively shocked to see how this woman. But one thing I will say is I did think as soon as you mentioned about like the sci-fi element that you really like, Chloe, I did think it would have some timey stuff in it. Because that was
Technically, it's not a time issue. It would
Well,
spoil because obviously.
Oh yeah, sorry, spoilers.
It's more like alternate realities, which is another
Yeah.
thing I really like.
Yeah,
Things like paradoxes and things happening, and I just like it.
it was very confused. I'm so glad there was a picture. So we'll come to that.
Yeah, the diagram. Yeah.
So we'll come to that in a minute. But we're introduced. I've got notes here, which is why I'm looking here. We're introduced at the beginning to Nick, who is selling some gear to Hannah, like the princess. And he does seem to be quite flirty with her, regardless of how much she's like, nah, I'm not interested. I've got a boyfriend. And I don't know, immediately, I just loved him. He was just, I was like, that's the pure, like, confidence that he has. And he's just like,
I think that's one of the reasons I don't necessarily love Hannah and Nick as much because like she is dating someone at the beginning and like Nick is just aggressively flirty even though she's dating someone at the beginning, which like it's fine in the long run, but like at the beginning it's like, all right, dude, chill out.
Yeah.
She's not interested.
yeah, no, I just thought
if I saw that interaction in real life, I would dislike him. Interesting.
Sorry, Memento's on Spotify for anyone that.
Oh, right, okay.
Spotify now doing audiobooks.
Yeah.
You can only have 15 hours, but it is only an hour and 32 minutes, so it's not going to take that much off of you.
Is that 50 hours a month? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right then. So Nick is a member of the Heimdall and is basically a criminal. And I don't know why that made him more appealing to me.
No, yeah.
Not Heimdall, sorry. From the Heimdall, member of the House of Knives, sorry.
Yeah.
And what that just made it more interesting that it was not like. But I think because we have the contrast more or less straight away of him versus, I forgot the other guy's name now. Jackson. I kind of didn't like Jackson from the moment that we started talking about him. Seemed a bit stuffy.
Because I feel like you're supposed to like him at the beginning. Like he's supposed to be like, obviously you're supposed to root for her with me, but also like Jackson's not supposed to be a bad guy.
And also,
like, he is eventually, but
a whole sky of different stars is inherently a very romantic moment. Like like
Yeah.
2 different stars. Like that shit is like, it's a shame that it was him that said it because like shit slaps.
And you have
It does.
you have to be able to root for him a bit
So that
because
the
otherwise,
betrayal
it's not going
means
to hit as
something.
hard.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because like, obviously this doesn't reflect on me what I like as a person. But in books, if someone's I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it is, but something about him just didn't. I just didn't sort of connect with him the same way that I immediately liked sort of Nick. There was
I mean,
something about him that I was just like,
you
maybe
obviously
not.
got more of Nick as well. Like you got a fuller picture of him, whereas
Yeah.
you only ever saw Jackson when he was talking to Hannah. Like it's very clearly set up that like, oh, this is not the end game that we're supposed to be rooting for here.
No, they just seem very like the way that the way that it talks about like they don't get to spend all that much time. He works all the time, or he's always doing something. They get a bit of time together, and then she does question whether or not she loves him at one point before she actually. And then I was just like, oh well, clearly we're not supposed to root for this one. But yeah, I don't know. There was just something that I don't know if I mentioned that when I messaged you about it, but it was something that I just didn't vibe with him.
I'm obsessed with actually like, oh, he works all the time. I was rooting for the drug dealing teenager. Like,
It was just his confidence.
a complaint being he has a stable job and income. And you'd be like, no. The guy with the angel tattooed on his neck who's been in jail, that's my man.
Look, when you put it that way, I clearly have an issue. But
I want to point out the sort of differences in what us three sort of like in the love interest is that at one point Meg was reading the book and she just went, oh, Ezra, I missed you. She got very happy when he came back on the page.
He was in it literally 2 sentences and I was like, it's my boy.
You could see her just look so happy when she got to it. And I was like, oh, I'm getting to that part then soon.
the thing with Ezra though, like he was like he's more of like a cheeky chappy, but he was like deeply. He was deeply.
He was a jock who joined the military. Like, come on.
Like he had banter, but he wasn't like a bad guy.
He was a cheeky jockey, but he was not a criminal.
Look,
that one time that he disobeyed a direct order from a homicidal AI and all of it right.
Look, Nick's had a hard life. He
was born into it.
I'm just saying.
He was born into the criminal.
Like you immediately got the ick from a guy because he had a stable job. Whereas the guy who was chain smoking and selling drugs, you're like, hi.
Yeah, at least
he just seemed very stuffy. I don't know. Just seemed like a very stuffy character.
The narrative, like you're just saying things that don't make sense now.
Ezra was not in it long enough. That is the correct answer. Well, correct response. It wasn't in it long enough. But we then introduced communicate speak. An officer, Sam Wheaton, is secretly working for Baytech. So we already know that there's somebody on the ship that is not what they seem. And at this point, I had no idea who it was.
Looping back, because I think your notes are going in order, right?
Yeah.
Looping back to the very, very beginning. The first thing that we actually see is it says it's the Corenza Trials, I believe it's called. Is that what we're calling it? Yeah, the Corenza Trials, day 82. It's a tribunal transcript. Because obviously at the framing.
Oh yeah.
The framing part of the first one was the messages to it was like the Illuminati group, that's what it is, putting together the file. In this one, we see right at the beginning that something has come of that because we're in some sort of trials and this is all being framed by that. Did you have any thoughts about that when you first started reading it? Like, did you notice that when you first started it? Obviously, it comes more into play at the end.
Yeah, to be fair, once I got into the story, I just forgot about that bit.
It's just because I said to Meg as soon as I opened it, I forgot that was a thing in this one, because obviously, as we've seen from the very end of it, it's going to become more of a thing going forward. But I forgot that started in this one, and that this whole thing is like we know a little bit more in this book about because in the first one, like we just thought they were just getting information on what had happened, whereas we know in this one that they're getting information and they're doing something with it.
Yeah. Which I know it works in there. Like it is a good thing, but yeah, I didn't think of that as the story went along. I was just more like
Yeah.
swept away.
That's me. I just
But
wanted
yeah,
to see if I thought anything of it, because I was the same the first time I read it. I was just like, okay, I don't even think I read.
like, oh, this is the trial. Fun. But when you found out there was like I know I said a worm, like a snake, like a what they call a mole. All the animals on the ship, on the Heimdall. What did you actually at that point have any ideas on who it might be?
This is like the first time I've read the book, so I really don't.
Yeah, that's more of a question for you than for us.
That was a no.
Okay.
I think the first time I read it, I knew before we got to Rapier being unmasked who it was. But I don't think it was that long before.
No,
I think I figured it out a similar time to Hannah figuring it out.
Yeah. I think anyway it'd be somebody like they're not going to introduce that and have it be somebody you don't know. Like it was always going to be someone, but there were multiple options as to who it could have been.
Yeah, I didn't have any idea at that point who it was going to be. But the fact that they dragged Nick into like getting them on board, and he thought it was he had no idea it was that, but had a part to play in it. I knew that would come back and bite him on the ass at some point, because obviously shit goes down and he don't have any time. Like, oh, by the way, that was me and my family. They've all now been murdered. So
and the cows.
And the cows. And that's the thing.
They got killed they died as a consequence of it all.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck was that? That was traumatic to read.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like,
yeah, that's why Adrian had to transcribe it.
Yeah. Because the author analyst, who we still don't know who it is, and I will ask your
I've got no idea, and he's annoying me so much. Because it's in a British accent, and at the moment, and one of the guys with the British accent turned out to be the bad guy, so I'm like, he's not going to be fucking doing the surveillance, is he?
No, honestly, it's such a waste for Steve West to only be in this audiobook.
It was just, I was like, I love the accents, by the way. I love the voices. All the voices are great. All the performances are great. But it's annoying me that I don't know who this person is now who's doing the fucking like surveillance things, and I know it's gonna be someone important. When I find out, I'm like, duh. But I just can't get it, and it's annoying me.
Question for you, because obviously you've listened to all the audiobooks. So the audiobook for the third one, is it also the same narrators that we've already had? So
and extras.
And well, obviously, yeah, because there's extra characters, but like it's still the same. Katie is still the same. Yeah. I assume so because it was the same in this one, like from Katie and after that. I just wanted to check.
Yeah.
Yeah, like reading about the way that they grow their drug was
the lamina. Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of like
the Wikipedia page was fun.
I was not okay with that. I was just because at the point when they were doing the farming, I was like, oh right, okay, what are they doing with the cows? And then I was like, okay, they're a bunch of criminals and they've got cows on a farm thing. Like, what's going on? But in my mind, I don't know why it went to this, because clearly it wasn't. But I was like, oh, they're injecting it to get her pregnant.
I mean, in all fairness, it did kind of sound like that. Like it'd be
that they poor girl. I was like, oh, they're injecting her to get her pregnant. Like that is also not great, because that is just no. But I was like, well, he's really, really against doing it. He really doesn't want to do it. I'm like, I don't want to inject an animal anyway either. But I was like, as it went on, I was like, oh, Oh, and then when it explained how like they grew and stuff, and like the cow just went like totally. I was that made me feel a bit like, ugh, like I didn't.
You have
Like,
such a way with words.
Yeah, he's so good at describing things, Lisa.
I know. I know it was needed for the story, but for my own visualization in the brain, I didn't need it. I didn't. I didn't need that picture in my head of a cow's face just going totally blank and like this thing growing in the brain. I didn't need that. It made me scratch my brain a bit.
One of the reasons that like I do want an adaptation, but I also do not. Like I don't need to see the lamina ever.
Yeah, that's one thing. I don't know how they wouldn't even be able to like skip that bit because that's an important part of the. Well, it's one of the.
Everything, yeah.
You've also just got like the sort of the illness that was taken over in the first one as well. Like everything's like not particularly nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
there's nothing like gag
Yeah,
inducing
yeah.
in the first one. Like the people just go a bit crazy and then it's a bit gory, but it's not like giant tentacle like parasite things. With
yeah. They had to get like the full description of the lamina in there as well, didn't they? With like the teeth and like, no, they didn't have to go in that much detail. I'm so glad they did. Didn't have like any visions of the big fucking creature. I think like it was horrible.
We talk
Anyway,
about slightly prettier imagery instead, and Hannah's journals all the way through it.
oh, I
But
love
the reason
that.
why I said that this one in particular, you have to look at as well as listening to it.
Yeah, I did love the fact that she kept a journal, and I kept wondering what the purpose of this continually mentioning that she kept this journal and how important this journal was to her. I was like, okay, I get it. She journals. It's
Really
sort of
important that you note the bullet hole at the bottom of it that they make a point of telling you about right at the beginning. I'm like, maybe that's important. Maybe
yeah.
and just
And I was like, well, what's going on with this? And then obviously we find out why later. But
the artwork for those, by the way, did you know who it is that's actually done the artwork?
no.
So it's Marie Lu, as in the author of Warcrafts and Wildcard and the Legends series.
Oh, I did see that name being banded about. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
But also, just sort of back to us talking about Jackson earlier, I feel like one of the reasons why I didn't mind him at first is that the way that Katie first like introduced him with this page. Okay, I keep saying Katie, Hannah introduced him with this page in the bottom of it where it's like reality charm level. My body is ready. And I was just like, oh, I feel like I'm supposed to buy into this.
Yeah, like a guy with British accent, like sign me up.
I made notes, and that was one of the things I noted was page 51. My body is ready. I was like, oh.
But like she is sort of just with the way that she's described, you could tell that that's not the only thing about her, but she is very much sort of like the princess. She's like the captain's daughter, and she's very much a protected thing, and Jackson's very protective of her, and you could tell that he is. And yeah, but obviously as part of the story, you know that that's not going to be the only thing about her.
I am glad that she was also quite like self-sufficient. Like, yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She is like very much doted on by her dad. Like when she asked him for more money for the thing, is like, I'm sure you've not got time for it to be ordered, so I'm sure you've already ordered it.
Yeah, that bit was just so cute though.
But she's also like, he's also, as well as sort of just doting on her, he's also read like strategies with her throughout, like war strategies with her throughout her life, so she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
The dojo together and like actually fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was their quality time together was just.
He's a competent one.
Yeah.
This one, the rip to the jumpsuit that she just spent all this.
The
this
jumpsuit
ish on.
that was with the GDP of a small planet, like.
Like, oh well, let's just rip it off.
All Nick cared about is like, oh, you're naked now? You've not got the jumpsuit on.
That bitch, she was like, focus. Like, no. But I think, I don't know, I don't know if it sort of helped that it just, even though it was quite persistent, and if I sat and thought about it, I'd be like, yeah, dude, calm the fuck down. I just thought it was just pretty cheeky. Just like, and you could sort of see her warming up to him as the story went on and being like, less defensive around him and less being like, yeah. But
I 100% am rooting for them, and I love their interactions when it's like when they're in the life or death situation, and like he's still flirting, but it's also very much just like, yeah, but we have a job to do. It was just he was like kind of creepy at the beginning, that I was like,
yeah.
this is what we're doing.
Wasn't it when you had the bit where it was like from the the first time you really had Hannah's drawings, why do I keep doing this? Was when she did her version of him trying to hit on her the first time, and he's like said that like really really played it off, and then she's like, how not to hit on a girl, and then did the
yeah, I did love that. I'm just trying to look at my notes. Yeah, we've got the blackmail. What did we think about the bad guys that came on board?
I'm so glad that they're dead.
Like, they were just all of them were fucking savage. I can't remember the name of the guy, like the leader of the. I didn't write it down. Oh, him, yeah. Like he was just like savage. Just walks off the fucking thing and just, boom.
I did feel like, so again, this is one that like you only really got it once in the audiobook, but because we were following the song, well, you saw it every time when they put all the pictures of them up and were sort of killing them off one by one. There was only really like 3 or 4 of them that I actually knew who they were. So like when they were all sort of dying off at the beginning, I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
They're the bad guys, now they're dead. Great.
Yeah, they mention him by name, don't they? Or like so and so's gone, and like she goes on. Do you know what, the bad guys? I forgot all the names.
Yeah, they did one, like I said, because in the physical book they had the pictures like every so often, and
Yeah.
sort of update on how many are still alive. But in the audio book, they just did it like the last time they did it, just to sort of show you who was left, and you were told like how many was in the crew before, so you had an idea.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and then she just went on a mission, and like it was her mission to kill or get Hannah because she killed her partner or her lover or whatever it was. They had to be, there had to be a female opposite to Hannah, though, didn't there? Like she's very much like they had to have the battle at the end, didn't they? I don't know where my notes have gone. I don't know what else to talk about. I do, but I don't. I don't know where to start. Oh, Nick finding out that like everyone was gone when he was like, obviously because they all landed, didn't they? And he was like, all right, I've got to go sort this. Went to deliver some dust to Hannah. And that was the reason why he wasn't there when everyone was killed. And then having to tell Ella that her dad were dead.
Well, I was about to say this is a great segue into talking about one of the best characters in it, who we haven't actually spoken about.
Freaking great. Also, the storyboard was the best. The storyboard was really cool. But yeah, Ella, she's just a brain, and she like, and screen's not flickering. The fact that her physical situation wasn't really talked about when we first met her.
Mm-hmm.
We just knew that she was like really highly intelligent, and she was also like, and then obviously they were cousins, and they do this thing again, didn't they, where they just call each other cuz or like it was that again, wasn't it? And chum.
I don't think it was quite as annoying though.
Wasn't, but it was still like, oh yeah, here we go. That's it.
Not the worst time I've seen it, but I won't lay into the other book.
Yeah, the cousin something. And I was like, okay, so we've got words for the book. But yeah, when we first meet her, like I loved her from the first time I met her. She's just an absolute fireball, isn't she? Everyone needs a friend or some family like her.
For her all the way through the book. I'm just like, she can't move.
Yeah,
she just.
There were like multiple moments when I thought she was dead.
Yeah.
Or just looks on the wall behind her, and it's like, oh, okay.
Oh my god, that bit was probably one of the worst things because in my head I was screaming run, and I'm like, she fucking can't. She can't.
Well, it was like because she'd already said at one point where, like I think it was when, like they'd not been able to talk for a while, and then Nick had got back on contact. I think this was the first time she mentioned like her physical disabilities, and she was, and Nick was like, "Oh, there you are," and she's like, "Well, of course, this is where I am. I am partially paralyzed. Where the hell else would I be?"
Yeah.
Like, you still there? It's like, where would I go?
Yeah. The thing is, it's easy to forget how young they all are, but how young she is, because everything that happens, she just fucking takes it, doesn't she? Like she takes very small. I know they're in like a critical situation, and like she's got to get her head in the game, but like the fact that she finds out her dad's dead, finds out everyone that's close to her apart from one person is dead, and she's just like, right, okay, I need a sec to process this.
And she still
Right,
keeps
okay,
doing
Liz.
all the way through it as
So her
well.
friend Zoe, she saves the goldfish. Like, obsessed with her.
And she's the way that she just sort of she keeps going, like she's just, and she is like the brains behind everything.
I think the fuck out
Oh
of
yeah,
the situation now.
yeah.
You
Like,
are?
there will be a reckoning for Ella.
Yeah, she did things that she shouldn't have done. But it was
Oh,
all in the like guise of saving lives. She did it for the
no, I
greater
mean,
good.
like she's gone through a lot of trauma. PTSD will come to get her at some point.
It
Yeah.
won't. It won't. She'll be fine. She'll be
That's how
fine.
things work.
She'll be fine. Look, she's been.
Sarah,
If she starts struggling with PTSD in book 3, we find out that she's a fucking quivering mess. I won't be happy. She needs to just
they all
have.
refresh, you know, fair.
They do. They like to put like it's
Get through wild situations first.
Yeah. Right now,
yeah.
we're trapped in a galaxy far, far away from anybody.
But the fact that uh she doesn't particularly like Hannah for not that she's ever met her, but she still sort of helps her because Nick likes her and Nick wants her to. So gets her all
Yeah,
this equipment.
it's because she's their only option.
Yeah.
I think it's because she did it for Nick as well. Because
No,
Nick's like,
I think Nick was like, look, she's all we've got. She has the palm pad. Like, she's not trapped in the atrium with
thanks
everybody
to
else.
him.
Yeah. So she's like, we have to work with her. Ella wasn't just like, yeah, sure, let me cozy up to the daughter of like the commander of the spaceship that we're all illegally settled on. Like,
But what I don't get, like I know that they wanted to communicate with each other and that was great, but the fact that they kept trying to use the server that could track them and kept knocking them out, like so that her and Jackson could communicate. I was just like, well, they're gonna track you. Like the reason, like you shouldn't use this.
yeah,
I
but
kept thinking,
Spinette like tracked their location because they had the probes and she got rid of that. So
oh yeah, she did. That was another one, another experience I didn't really want to like cutting something out yourself. What?
They also had all like the guest profiles and things, didn't they? They weren't using just like
Yeah,
one, so there were already things in place.
yeah. So initially, obviously, I didn't, even though I wasn't like a massive fan of Jackson, I didn't want him to like be the bad guy or die. So initially, when she was
No
like,
one wants anyone to be the bad guy, really. We just want it to be happy ever after.
we do, but initially when everything went down and then her dad was killed, um, when he was saying where he was like, holed up with some people. I was hoping that he would be okay, and I was like worried about him. Like she was saying her friends were there, and she wanted to know how her friends were. I just sort of feel for him. And it took me a long time to realize that he was the bad guy. When did you? I don't know if you can remember this because you've read it like 5 times, but yeah, when did you start realizing that he was the one that was
have we not
the
already
bad guy?
talked about this?
Yeah, Meg already mentioned that.
Did you?
Yeah, when we were just talking about him in general earlier.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I
she
think-
started to
Oh
realize
yeah,
that Hannah did.
yeah.
Which was great.
I still didn't know. Did I? I don't know. No, I
He
I
was just
only
so adamant that she turn herself in, and I was like, bruh, we've seen these people. Shouldn't do that, maybe.
Yeah.
no, I still didn't cotton on then. I was totally like I don't know why, but I didn't get it until it was actually revealed.
Speaking of you being fairly oblivious to things, because obviously even before Katie and Ezra come into this one, we have links to the first one anyway. So when Katie's dad is introduced right at the beginning, did you clock his last name at all, or did you not realize until there we go? Because literally that is one of the notes I had going like, oh look, Isaac Grant, that's a name we should know.
No.
I didn't think I said this to Meg when I was reading
Until he was like, my daughter Katie, and I'm like, oh, duh. Yeah, no, I totally didn't even cotton on at all, and
This was after we had a live show. We were like,
where's Katie's dad working?
It's like Katie's dad is that station. That
kind of one, yeah.
look, I'd slept between the live show and reading this book, right? So
I tried to leave you a helpful hint.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, I was just to be fair, I was just fully invested on what those three were doing and making sure those three lived, and I was just like, oh yeah, there's a guy here that they're trying to save because they're good people.
I was very concerned for him.
The book starts before anything tragic happens.
It's just he's just in a conversation
Captain
with
Donnelly and Isaac Grant are having a chat about the daughters.
Yeah, and they mentioned that the daughters would get along if they met each other
because they both like the Lollipop song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you are very much supposed to be like, oh yeah, because this is Katie's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I very much wasn't. I was like, oh, cute conversations.
Yeah, I love that for you. I was very stressed about Katie's dad because I'm like, Katie can't go through any more shit.
No, when he gets shot, I'm like, bro.
I'm like, don't do this. Like, her only hope is that she's gonna connect with this station, and that some of her family is still gonna be alive. Like, don't do this. The bit where Katie and Hannah start talking to each other, and they're asking the first time we see the conversation of them asking the questions to make sure that it's definitely Katie's dad, and Hannah's like, your cousin and your mom didn't make it right, and like because she avoided the question, and then like, don't tell him. I'm like, oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, because he does mention that he hopes that they're all right. So yeah, that was a bit, but I didn't clock. I was oblivious to that, and then when they started talking about,
you knew who he was, they spelled it out at that point.
Yeah, at the point they spelled it out, like, oh, your dad's here. Like, oh yeah, okay, that's dad. But
well, it's a bit where isn't it when they first make contact, when they first send a message to Hypatia, they say, we've got Isaac Grant and he wants to know about the status of his daughter Katie. That'll be when it clicked for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So exactly, like I said, the exact moment we were told that he was the dad, he was the father. I don't know. So many things went over my head. I think I should have guessed it, but
at least when
it's me.
It wasn't even guessed.
They told you his name.
Look, I mean, I should have put two and two together. I should have maybe if I.
Grant of Heimdall Station was the Isaac Grant who is Katie's father, who is stationed at Heimdall Station, who is concerned about his wife and daughter stationed on Carenta, who they haven't spoken to for 6 months.
I just love that I knew that she wouldn't have got this.
I was like, oh, this guy really loves his family.
Yeah, he does.
I hope they're okay.
I quite like them.
And it's really sad because we know that Helena is dead.
Look, okay, it's me. Are you surprised?
No,
just disappointed.
Oh no, do that. So when you find out, although, so you mentioned when you find out. So when you found out Jackson was a bad guy, like, how, like, did it have a big impact on you? Or were you just like, I feel more sorry for her than anything, obviously.
I think because I did go into this knowing that it was Nick and Hannah's story, I was like, oh, okay, well at least that leaves them two open to get together now. This was necessary. It was going to go one of two ways. It was either going to have to be a traitor, or he was just going to die. Like because
which is more difficult to then move on to a new romantic relationship because you have like the trauma of lost love as opposed to the trauma of betrayal.
Like when it's betrayal, you can very like as for the audience as well. Like you can easily root for another person, but like no, you deserve to be with somebody and be happy. Whereas if someone's just died, you're like, are you moving on a little bit too fast here?
Yeah.
But speaking of people dying, why did they have to like? Why do they love faking out and making you think people have died though? Because like I didn't need Nick getting shot. I didn't need it to happen.
No.
No.
I didn't need to be thinking that Ella had been fucking infested by that thing.
No, it was worse when she got shot because Nick killed Holt.
Yeah, but I think we went through with Ella. There was twice that. Well, was it only twice? Obviously, the once we thought the lamina had got, and I'm like, oh no, she's alive. And then it's like, oh no, the betrayer shot her. Like none of those were needed. My heart didn't.
They like said made a point of mentioning all the way through with the Nick one of the diary and like note the gunshot thing, and then as soon as it picks it up, you're like, oh, I know what's coming.
Yeah, but when he was, well, I'm not saying dying because he did die, but when he was dying on the train, I was like, no, something's gonna happen. He's gonna be fine because you can't give me all of this beforehand, all this build up, and finally get them to be like together just for him to die. I mean, you're not that mean.
So obviously we're now getting on to like the sort of the more like sci-fi element of this, like the sort of sci-fi trope of this with the wormhole and the different realities and things like that. Did you clock anything about it? Because so obviously now you've read it multiple times, but this was the second time I read it. So the scene about the corsage, I noticed this time. Whereas
that was something I didn't notice. That was something I didn't notice, but I just thought I was like, oh, maybe it's just.
You're supposed to be like, yeah, this is a bit weird, but like you're not supposed to necessarily out of that.
Oh, cute.
And that's why I was like the first time I read it. I was like, okay, I'm sure we did lose it though.
Yeah. But then knowing me in my brain, I was like, oh, maybe I just like just sort of like brushed across it. But then when they mentioned that obviously it was them that swapped at the time that it swapped, I was like, oh shit.
See, obviously they had to get them all back to the right places in order for it to like.
I understood the reasoning for that as well. How?
Nice. But I also just really appreciated like the fact that it's obviously sad that in the other universe both of them died.
Yeah.
But I appreciated that like I said this to my guest that was reading it. I appreciated that we got sort of Hannah's version of Nick back because like obviously she'd had a bit of a moment with the one that she thought she saw die was actually alternate universe Nick. But it was nice that she got her version back because that's who she'd built the relationship with.
Yeah.
No, they're very, very similar. Like, but you don't know. Well, you don't know which moments have changed, do you? Because, like, obviously, it's an alternate universe. There could be minute differences of things.
Yeah. So I think with the fact that like when Nick died, I was just. I thought that I genuinely before he died I thought something was gonna happen, like the wound wouldn't be that bad, but then that bitch came on and was just like gunning for it. I was like, fuck off already, like just die please, like we need to get back to Nick. I was stressed. I was so stressed reading that bit. I'm like, he's bleeding out on the floor and you're trying to kill Hannah, like please just throw yourself out of the window and just be done with it because you're annoying me. Like she deserved everything she got. Well, they all did, if in fairness. But the whole time when when we were going through and this lamina was like you're seeing it from his perspectives and like was it his perspective, its perspective when it was watching people and it was like that was creepy.
Yeah, well, I still thought we were talking about Nick then. I was like, what are you talking about?
It was just a thought that came to my head at the time when we were talking about it, because it was another thing that like just needed to be destroyed along with everything else. But yeah, flicking to that perspective where it was like watching people and like, oh, that bit was really creepy. But I think that just because I'm flitting back and forth here, when it did that thing with Ella, and obviously it then was watching her, I was like, yeah, she can't get away from you. So at that point, I thought that she was dead.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think
obviously,
they were in like low grav, didn't it? So that she didn't need all the muscle strength because the gravity had started to go skew.
yeah,
She'd have been fucked if the gravity was normal.
yeah, 100%. But then obviously at this point we've got Ella who's dead, who's been helping Hannah along the way. She's sort of built some kind of friendship with. The guy that she started to fall for is dead, and then she's stuck. Like after all of this, like she knows her dad's dead.
I would say dad's also don't forget that
Yeah,
one.
and I was like, what the
Boyfriend
fuck?
Rita.
Yeah, boy, yeah.
Well,
In this really short space of time, she had so much fucking trauma. I'm like, oh
at
my
this
god.
point, you just be like, do I just give up?
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah.
like that would be me. I'd be like, is there any point in me actually attempting to get off this place and get it to safety and like to help anybody else? Because everyone I get involved with in some way or shape or form ends up dying.
And also, I was still feeling guilty about the 57 people in the hard sector who got.
Oh,
Sorry, I was laughing then because of the names of the people in that. So, and if you notice that, like, so all the names on that were friends of the authors. Some of them like regular people that they know. Other ones were known authors. So, like Meg said, she turned the page and just saw Lee Bardugo.
I didn't pay attention to that bit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's where is it? It's on page 328. It starts, and yeah, it's just like Lee Bardugo is just there. Cami Garcia. Also we got yeah, just lots of people. Veronica Graveyard as well. No, Victoria Graveyard, sorry. Veronica Graveyard.
Yeah,
that's like yeah, it's just various people that I think it's a lot of the people that are banking the acknowledgements as well.
I was looking for the names of other authors.
David Ewan, who is Nicola Ewan's husband.
No, I didn't. Again, that's another thing I didn't clock. I need to go back and read them. See if I can like play like a word search.
In the first one as well, at some point they had names that were people that we know.
But yeah, so at this point,
Age and Lee Bardugo was just there. Like,
she dead.
R.I.P. Yeah, so at this point, I'd just be like, I'm absolutely done with life. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't bother. And then obviously we find out, obviously we start flitting to like Katie, who shares that she has part of Aiden still remaining, like the homicidal AI.
Did anyone really think we'd seen the last of Aiden in the first book?
No, the broken AI. It's still very much broken. She's like,
again, another question for you, just with you not noticing things. How far into Aiden being one of the transcribers did you realize it was Aiden?
What?
So Aiden transcribes a load of the stuff. You know that, right?
No.
So every time we get to one of these like security footage.
Oh no, that bit. Yeah, I thought you meant the surveillance stuff.
Yeah, so that's what it is. The surveillance stuff. Aiden's doing that,
but it's in black though.
Yeah,
it's Aiden. But
yeah, that's fine.
It starts with surveillance footage summary prepared by analyst ID 0148.
But the first time we see it, it literally just says that it's to do with Lamina, isn't it? And it's because the other person, who shall not be named, is
that a new AI?
Reading it.
Yeah, sorry.
So it says that they've had. It says we've had to put in this new analyst because the other one's not feeling up to it. Just as a warning, the new analyst is a bit out of sorts, and then it starts very clearly being Aiden, but it's not until sort of the second time that you actually like that it starts to have like errors and stuff in it as well, and like really clearly becomes Aiden. And I just had visions of you not clocking that at all for a while.
Obviously, when the pages are black, I knew it was Aiden, but I didn't
Oh,
really think of anything outside of that. Yeah,
no, that's what it was. But I was just checking that you knew that
because that happens in the first book as well. And when Aiden talks, it's black.
because what we know now is that Aiden is also working with the Illuminate group.
Yeah, but
Obviously,
obviously that made me wonder even more about who the first surveillance one is. I'm really curious about who. Oh, I don't have any ideas about who the surveillance thing is.
So far in this book, you've got two different analysts doing it. One of them, I'm not telling you who it is, and one of them is Aiden.
Do I know this? I'm gonna know this person. It's gonna really annoy me.
I'm not telling you who it is.
But like the first time we get Aiden, he's like doing the records. It's not one of the surveillance footage ones. It's
isn't it?
No, it's a record of the assault on CNC.
What page is it?
254.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's a whole 10 pages earlier than when it starts doing the surveillance. Yes, that was
so it's just like apologies for typographical anomalies. Our specialist is a little out of sorts.
Yeah,
because like this is Aiden's first like bit.
Oh yeah, anything that was black, I assumed it was Aiden.
Oh, okay, that's what I wanted to check whether you'd like.
Yeah. I was like, what? But yeah, no.
Well, like Katie had said that she still had a bit of Aiden, and that was when you clicked.
Yeah, no. I was just like the fact that she just decided to share that with. Well, I mean, not just decided. Obviously, the only she only he could help. She showed him because he could help. But the fact that she was just like, I've got a little piece of Aiden and told it.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we know from the end of the first one that Katie's to do with Illuminate.
Yeah.
So now you're just sort of seeing that, like, Aiden obviously is going to continue to play a part in these because, like, obviously he helped in this one, but he's also then continuing to help afterwards because he's transcribing things.
Yeah.
So Aiden is going to continue to be part of this.
Yeah. So I just if he's gonna be I say good guy, good AI, if he's gonna be helping now, I want him to fix him. Before when he was just like anyone were dying, I didn't want him to get fixed.
How are you imagining that they do that?
I don't know.
I mean, he's clearly still not fixed because there are errors all over his transcriptions.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who would be able to. Ella.
But let's just like put things like into context. Ella has had to abandon her supercomputer that she lives in because it was attacked by an evil worm. Everyone else is a refugee on a science vessel that they haven't been able to fix him in prior to this, and they're stranded on the other side of a wormhole that has now like collapsed. Basically, like where are they finding the tech?
I think Ella's gonna help.
Okay.
Ella's gonna use her tech skills to make him better.
I mean, I feel like Ella just needs a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, she can have a moment, but I think she might start tinkering.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. She's the only one with the brains that I think would be able to fix him. But now that you said
Katie's also bad at tech. Like historically, we've seen her not be good at doing things.
I was gonna say, like, there's a reason why, like,
she is what
Katie and Aiden work well together.
It's just so much.
But I do agree with you guys. We did need more of Ezra. Was there any point where you were reading? Sorry?
Maybe there'll be more in the third one.
And I know that obviously because these are rereads for you, so you might not remember your thoughts when you first read it. But was there any point for you where you thought like any of the deaths were actually final?
Yeah, like
all the time.
Yeah, like I very much. Although I said to Mike was reading, like one of the things I find funny with, I know more from J. Kristoff's side because I haven't read anything else by Amy Kaufman, but like J. Kristoff is kind of known for being merciless, but I don't think he really is necessarily. Like without spoiling things from previous series, we've already seen times where there's been sort of fake outs and things like that throughout various different books. And I think it's always more so in the YA stuff because, like, but that being said, whilst the endings tend to be like lean more towards being happy in some way, that doesn't mean that there's not casualties along the way. Because there is, if you look at the Aurora cycle, for example, there is one very serious casualty that happens in that book and sticks.
Why?
So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them does stick in this as well.
Yeah, no, I think
Comfortable with it.
I think with Kristoff, I think people, because, well, in his YA he's not so vulgar, but because he does put his characters through a lot of trauma throughout the book.
I think that's likes to give them a happy ending. I think secretly he does actually want everyone to live happily ever after.
Yeah, but I think because he treats his character just like you said, so mercilessly throughout the book, puts all his characters through a lot of trauma. I think that's what people focus on, saying like, oh, but then when you do sit and think about it, although it's not like a perfectly, tied in a bow, everything's happy at the end. There's some semblance of a happy ending at the end of his books, which I'm hoping for. But my worry is, because we're still on book 2, we've already met 2 couples that have ended their book well. And yeah, there's been some betrayals and stuff along the way. And obviously we've now got 2 couples and Ella. I am worried that if there's a coupling in the third one, I'm guessing is there a different coupling in the third one?
Well, this was going to be my question to you, was to ask you what you think the third one is going to be like, because obviously we are starting to combine stuff, like the people from the first and the second ones are coming together. So where do you think it's heading? Do you think
I'd be more worried if they came together as like a team of 5 in the last one, because it means there's more likely that one of them is going to be dying, and one of those is going to be a permanent death. And I don't want any of those 5. Those 5 need to be protected, but I know that that's probably impossible.
Do you think there's going to be a third location that we're sort of heading towards with another couple in there? And if you do, like, remember
should I know this?
No, I'm just wondering what your speculation is, because like last time we asked you where you thought they could possibly be going in this one. So what do you think we could be looking at in the third one?
Well, did they say where they are when they're doing this trial?
No.
No. Whatever that is, wherever they're doing the trial.
Yeah.
Whatever they may be there.
Location, but like the Illumina group aren't at the trial.
No, Hannah appears
via
video right at the end.
Oh, via video. Oh, right.
But then what Hannah basically says, we're just getting started. You want to know how it ends. So obviously we're going somewhere.
I don't know.
Like, set in the scene, trapped on the wrong side of a wormhole, millions of light years from like other people, or like the people they were hoping to reach.
They're gonna be in a wormhole. No, I'm joking. Maybe I should know this. I should be able to use my brain.
There is something in the final.
Oh, don't say that. I read this weeks ago. I either read them just before the live show or weeks before, and like now I feel like there's an important part that I should remember.
Do you want me to read you a part of the transcript on the final bit? So, Miss Donnelly jump station Heimdall was destroyed completely. Whether by this alleged drone fleet or not, the United Terran Authority has confirmed that nothing remains of the station but an ever-widening debris field. If indeed you and the Malakos were reunited with the residents of Heimdall aboard the Mao, there was no way back to the central systems. You would have been trapped on the Corenza side of the wormhole along with the crew of the Hypatia, with no means of returning. The trip back to the core would take thousands of lifetimes under conventional thrust. And then Hannah says, come to think of it, someone did mention that. And then the person goes, and with Heimdall destroyed, there would be no way to transmit from the Corenza system waypoint. So it's literally impossible for you to be here talking to us right now. So it's giving you an idea of where they were.
Yeah. So they mentioned the Mao.
They mentioned the Mao, they mentioned Corenza, they mentioned the Heimdall and the Hypatia, and coming back to the core.
I don't fucking know. What are you telling me?
That's fine.
Excited for you to read it or find out.
I want to read it now, but I can't because by the time we do the live stream in January, I'll forgot everything.
Characters at the end of this one.
Oh, oh God, is Leanne going to be in it more?
Yeah, she's on trial.
Leanne just needs to not. Leanne needs to die at the beginning of the third book. Because if Leanne doesn't die at the beginning of the third book, then I'm gonna be unhappy. She just needs to leave them the fuck alone. I don't understand.
She does. She needs to.
She does, but also like this. But I feel like she's fairly important in terms of like carrying along the storyline. Like there does need to be someone that you're rooting against. And clearly it's
Yeah, I know.
And we still want to have a confrontation between her and Ezra. Because like obviously the end of the first book.
Oh yeah, it's his mum and that.
And we find out like that their connection. And
I hope he confronts her and then kills her.
Because Ezra's not really been in this one very much. And she's not in this one very much. She's very much just pulling the strings from afar.
Yeah.
To be in it a bit more in the third one. That's the only thing I will say, because like we need to actually, well, obviously said the trials are going to be a big part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But one thing we haven't mentioned is the fact that Jackson, redeems himself, and everyone's made to think that he actually killed them, but he didn't.
Took one for the team.
He did. I still hate him for what he did, but also I'm very grateful that he helped them.
This is absolutely absurd, but I think I like him more than I would have done because he is narrated by Steve West, and like he's just something like from the get-go. I'm just like, oh well, I like listening to him, so he can just carry on talking.
I did like his voice. His voice is one of those voices that really, it's just really nice to listen to. And you shouldn't really like the bad guy, but his voice is just like, I like
he's less the bad guy than like the Baytech Kill Squad.
Oh yeah. He's like the lackey of everything. So he's, and it wasn't like it was a case of it. You could just like not adhere to an order and everything would be fine. If you didn't follow through with your orders, they'd kill you anyway. So, it was like, do I get killed or do I obey orders? Like,
yeah.
And then he ends up sacrificing himself anyway because he realizes that, he did wrong. But it kind of like the fact that he genuinely did actually have feelings for her.
Like a whole sky of different stars is romantic as fuck. You can't say that to someone you don't care about.
I know that it came back at the end.
At the very end.
Oh.
Because it's romantic.
And she did see a whole sky of different stars.
She did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bit was like, that bit was sad. That was really sad because, she got what he promised her, but obviously.
But she got it with Nick instead, so it's fine.
She got it with Nick, but it was still sort of like, I told you I would do this for you, and I did. I'm like, oh, I wanted to hate you so much. And you broke her heart, but this was just so fucking cute. And yeah.
I think it's good though that the bad guys aren't just pure evil. Like there's a human element to them. Because there's nothing worse than a bad guy where you just can't understand any motive whatsoever because they're just so like inhuman that it's just like you are just evil for the sake of being evil. Whereas when you can see that someone is still human and they're just like, he was working for the wrong company. And like that's what a lot of these people are, is that they were working for a company and they got
It makes you feel really bad for the other ones that died, other than the bitch, I can't remember her name. It just
like some of them are truly awful people, and they
kept coming for Hannah. Yeah,
like you are also allowed, if your workplace tells you to murder people, maybe say no. But
but I really did actually, to say that we didn't like the laminate, but I did really enjoy when the big captain guy was just totally like obliterated by him. I loved that. I was like, you deserve this. But with them, I totally didn't even clock what it was when that first guy went out to check the thing, and then he sort of went a bit. Oh, I should have clocked then because it literally not long ago told you what that does to your brain.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, pretty. I was like, what is this thing that got loose? That I didn't put that together.
The first time I read it, I also did not put that together. I was
And
just
then
like, maybe he's just not got enough oxygen going to his brain.
yeah, and I'm like, oh, pretty. I think it's like that. Totally just cut. I was like, oh, right, okay. But yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Would that have been obliterated with the Heimdall though? Please don't tell me that comes back in any way, shape, or form.
Would the lamina have been obliterated with the Heimdall?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just checking.
Because they're like
They're
parasites.
like
They're not.
hot things and air. Like Heimdall doesn't have that anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
They're not. It's not like a virus that could like sort of linger in the air and like spread easily from one place to another. It was like an actual parasite. So
Yeah. Also, though, if it was a virus, no air in space,
yeah,
it would die.
Oh, yeah, fair. That is fair. But I just had like a thought. I was just like, please tell me they don't come back. I don't need any more of those things. And no.
No other things that are a problem. Don't worry.
mm-hmm.
Oh, don't.
A book left yet, Lisa?
The thing is, though, these things that are created and the things that talk about in here, I don't think it's totally out of the realm of possibility that
Well,
these
no,
things.
that's the fun of sci-fi.
That's what the
But
genre
that's the
is.
scary thing. Like these in the real world, they could
sci-fi
actually have
horror
created
works
these virus things that have fucking legs and teeth, and I don't like it.
Sci-fi horror works very, very well because the thing with sci-fi is that it's not out of the realm of possibility. Some of it feels like it is. Some of it, like when it's like sort of sci-fi for me falls into two categories. You've got sci-fi fantasy, which is complete different planets, like whole new species and things, and that it's basically just fantasy, but it's got a space element to it.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got your sci-fi, which is based on humans, and it's just what could happen in the future. And that's where horror works really, really well because it's too close to
it
what
is. It's
like, oh, this could go wrong. It's things like 28 Days Later.
It's why I think Fringe is one of the best TV shows I've ever seen. Like,
oh god, I love Fringe.
so
I love Fringe. But people say, that's not gonna happen. Technology isn't that far ahead of mine, but we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not gonna come out and say, oh my god, we've made this like really big advancing technology that could mean that, AI could actually just think for itself and like
it doesn't even need to be that complicated though as well, because like have you ever seen the film Gravity?
Is that the one with Sandra Bullock where she no,
I don't love that film. It's not a great film.
Like stick to see the trailer, so no.
But the fact that like literally all it is that she's a person working in space and it's very much the sort of technology we could have now. And something goes wrong and she gets trapped there. Like some of the ways that it's filmed is still very horror, but it's not like that far out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. That just seeing what happens to her to start with, like in the trailer, literally turns my stomach. Like it makes me feel I can't watch it. Like I think stuff like that, like I said, because it is very like it is fiction, but also is it really? It could actually happen. Like I don't. That
I think that's one of the reasons I do like Fringe so much. Is sometimes you'll watch an episode and be like, damn, like they've explained this in a way that like this could happen,
and it makes sense. It scarily makes sense.
Just because Becca's just messaged me with a Doctor Who reference, one of the things of like Doctor Who episodes is that like you've got all the fun, ridiculous ones. My favorite Doctor Who episodes are the scary ones, which we've had one this weekend, and I like the ones where you sort of you kind of get an explanation, but not too much of an explanation, and it's just like, well, but I can see these things being real.
But in a way, I would love to know.
Speaking of sci-fi references, there were so many Leaf on the Wind
references. Oh, there was also 555 so many times as well. So that Leaf on the Wind is Firefly and 5 by 5 is Buffy. And I knew 5 by 5 was said a lot.
I was like, Leaf on the Wind feels more apt because that's like just overtly sci-fi.
And so sad.
So, yes, very sad. But it was like multiple times where I was like, why are you making me think of Serenity? Like, why are you doing
No
that?
one needs this. It's a great film, but no one needs this right now.
But like in a way, I would love to see like how much we actually know about tech and space and stuff. But on the other hand, I think it would just scare the shit out of me and I'd never sleep. But like the inquisitive part of my brain would like to know how much we actually know and how far we've actually advanced. But then like, you know, the nervous, anxious, scared bitch inside me is just like, no.
I feel like I'm quite happy with the ignorance is bliss thing, and I will just
Oh,
continue to read
I just
sci-fi.
keep-
I'm going to choose to believe that we'll never get to that point in our lifetimes. Like, technology is not going to advance that quickly. So, like, yeah, it's possibly going to happen in the future, but I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm
I mean,
like,
they've already got those little AI clocks and stuff, aren't they? That they're selling for like stupid
I'm
amounts
not
of money.
messing with that shit.
I'm like,
The
I don't
AI
use-
robots, little AI robot things.
it's like we're not gonna have to worry about this. Like,
Yeah, if anything, we're just going to explode instead. It's fine.
But
the
like,
ecosystems are dying. We have bigger problems than is AI going to be impactful? Like, it is absolutely
Climate change.
it's going to be a problem. But like, let's focus. We're like made humanitarian crises in multiple different countries. Like, there's
Yeah.
just going on to be that worried.
yeah, I don't like watching the news, but
No,
no, like,
let's get out there and vote.
but no, I can't remember when I saw it. Like, there was this they show these tech things on TV all the time, and there was this actual little AI robot that you can talk to.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't understand how that works, but also I would like to know, but also no. Like,
I mean,
and the fact that it's a tiny robot also.
They just pull loads of information from databases and make it sound like a human. It's not. It's
I
not
don't-
that complicated.
Is it? Is it? Is it?
Yeah, because loads of authors have found that their work has been put into them and it's theft. So yeah, very much is.
Like, I don't think we're at the ex machina level of AI at any point soon.
No.
Wow. They'll
Have you ever actually tried to talk to like ChatGPT? Like, there's only so far it can go before it just hits us. Like, no.
But also when I think of all these things with sci-fi and stuff, sci-fi makes me think a lot and it hurts my brain. It also like takes me to like watching Black Mirror
Mm-hmm.
and some of those episodes, and I'm just like.
But again, the whole point of that is that it's not that far off.
But
it's an amplified version of like all the ones with like social media and stuff in them, and like that leading to people just being killed. It's like, yeah, that could happen.
The one of the first ones I saw was like the girl that like the life was ruled by ratings.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that could happen, but also that is very much how people live their lives, by likes and
It's
views.
not to the extreme that it is and that, but like it is still
yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's very social media. But it scares the shit out of me because like, that's out of my control. And in my brain, I'm like, it's out of your control. Don't worry about it. But also, I'm worried about it. But I'm also worried about it. But yeah, I have no idea who this secondary or the initial surveillance guy is. It's making me thinking now that it's like another AI.
Maybe you should read Obsidian and find out.
I think I don't have any more thoughts, but I was curious about your thoughts of Nick's reveal of why he was in jail.
Did you think he was a murderer?
I never thought he was a murderer.
I mean,
maybe I'm very naive. Yeah, I mean, he did have that tattoo, but because again, might be my naivete. Maybe I'm like easily tricked. He could have been a murderer, but it's just the way that we got to know him and stuff like that. And I just thought that he was. I didn't think he was protecting his brother, but I thought he might have done it to protect somebody in his family.
Yeah, I think the first time I read it, like the bit where it was like, oh, that he'd killed a child, I was like, that feels wrong. But like maybe he has killed somebody, but he was doing it out of like self-defense or something. And then the more detailed explanation of it, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, the fact that like Yeah, the fact that there was like, oh yeah, the murderer killed a child. I'm like, murderer potentially I could get again, but I thought maybe in self defense.
Draw the
Yeah,
line.
not just like
Because
not
how would you root for him after if he had? It would
yeah,
have just
you
worked.
can.
You know, we had to see him kill his dog. Like,
No, we didn't. We didn't. No animals died in the making of this book.
Many
Um,
sad animal things recently turning on. We were looking for a TV yesterday and we turned on Snowman and the Snow Dog, and I didn't realise that it started off with like the death of an actual dog, and I was like, oh no!
I just looked up and got really sad.
Just looked up and there was a grave for a dog, and I was like, okay. All the Christmas things we keep watching keep getting really sad. Had to message Becca the other day and be like, don't watch this Christmas film. It just like it was all fun and happy, and then it got 3/4 of the way through, and it was like, oh, okay, no.
yeah. But I realize a lot of people are like, oh, I mean, I know a lot of them start this like a divorce or like, oh, my mum died of some illness. She got sick years ago and she died and there's trauma from that. And it's like, why? Why?
So this one
Why
was
is
very much
no
on
need?
the stream.
Absolutely no need.
Like, okay, no. I got happy again very quickly after, but it was a moment where I was just like, no, well, we'll tell you when we're not live.
But yeah, I think it's going to annoy me that and I'm going to have to put off reading book 3 because I want the physical as well. But also, I feel like I need to read that one closer to the live show.
Mhm.
But
Read it in the time in between Christmas and New Year. It'll be a great time to read it.
you just want to see me in pain.
But I mean,
Somebody,
you're gonna have to read it either way. Like, Betwixtmas seems like a fine time.
Yeah.
but
You're
I
very
talk-
so far you've given them both 5 stars. And for the
yes,
spoiler alert for the third one, I gave it 5 stars and Meg gave it 4. So there's and the reasons why Meg gave it 4 I agree with. I rounded it up where she rounded it down, I think.
Okay.
But the so I feel like you're probably likely to like it. So maybe reading it at that time is perfect because it could be like your last read of the year. Finishing it off strong.
With a bit of trauma.
Putting it off, so apparently everyone's reading it immediately. She's like, I'm waiting for you to finish the live show so I can pick it up.
But I will not be putting off reading. And I will be staying away from that one. Yeah. Don't trigger yourself. But I think because at the moment I'm reading Queen of Shadows because everyone kindly voted for that on my poll that I put on Twitter. I think that
I voted for something else.
yeah, so that got like 40% of the votes. So I think that might be enough trauma for this week. So maybe maybe next week.
I voted for what I think is a Merry Little Meet Cute. Because I'm sure there was one that was like a snowflake and spite and a chili. And I was like, I know that.
That was as if you got that.
Oh yeah, she sat here and was like, I think this is this is this.
Yeah, I don't like not knowing things, so I sit and try and figure it out. I didn't get Queen of Shadows in all fairness.
Yeah, the only shadow was like 2 people.
What was the robot?
Sound for the Wild Bill.
I said that.
She did say that.
I was like, I'm hoping it's the Monk of the Robot series that I bought her for her birthday.
Yeah, yeah.
That.
I was gonna read a small book for the reindeer readathon. So I was like, oh, I'll put all the ones that I need to read.
For that is also very good in all fairness.
I was gonna put all the ones for reindeer readathon in there, and then
what was the book one then?
the book one.
There was one that was just like an open book.
Bookshops and bonus.
That's the one I couldn't get because I didn't factor in a reread.
I didn't know how to do bone dust. I could have put bone and then something else, but I was just like book, yeah. So yeah.
I also thought it was Twin Crowns, Becca. It looked like Crown was like 2 people, so it looked like Twin Crowns.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I could put for shadows, and if I just put Queen or Crown,
just put like a black heart.
Possibly. Oh well, it was voted for anyway. If you voted for it thinking it was Twin Crowns, I apologise.
No, I very much voted for the one that I like. I know what this is, so I will vote for this. And also, I was trying to like go easy on you.
Yeah, I'm sure you would be because you also like to see me in pain. I'm not. I'm looking forward to it, but also not. But also I am. But yeah, I'm gonna wait until the live show tomorrow. And then after that, I'm gonna start Queen of Shadows. So I'm gonna give myself a break.
As if you asked if we could do sprints on a Tuesday when you're doing the live show for Queen. But
I don't think she's doing it. She's just
well,
watching.
you're like watching it, like you've been reading along, so that you can like.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna do it on Tuesday, but then I was like, oh shit, I need to check when Smash is.
In all fairness, I'm pretty sure they announced the live shows being Wednesday and then moved it to a Tuesday.
Okay.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. So I was just like, oh shit, no, I can't go live on Tuesday, and I changed it to Thursday. But yeah.
I will have new nails on Thursday. I'm excited.
I need new nails.
I think I'm going to a book signing to meet Michael Ball to get him to sign a book for my mum for Christmas. So much for my early night.
Michael Ball is great. We're going to leave you all there, and we'll be back next month in 2024 with the live show for Obsidio / and Memento.
It will be on my channel.
Which will be on Chloe.
And then I haven't discussed with Lisa what the plans are for the series after, but it will be a little bit more of a gap after that, and we will talk about that in the next live show.
Great time because me and brother are about to die. Go and read Obsidio and have fun. And Memento and have fun. But we'll see you all later. Bye.